guys, Jason Timothy here, musicsoftwaretraining.com. So I received a submission on kind of an experiment that I wanted to do of see everyone I know, including myself, have a ton of unfinished songs in the form of 8-bar, 16-bar, 32-bar loops. And when you're not used to finishing songs, it's really difficult to figure out how to take a nice groove or an idea and flesh it out into a complete song. So I put up the challenge for my members to go ahead and send me something from their 8-bar loop graveyard in their hard drive somewhere, and allow me to show my process of turning that into a song. Now, obviously, this isn't a collaboration. This is just you watching over my shoulder on how I would approach what someone else has given me. And you caught me at a disadvantage because I'm on my laptop, I'm not in my studio, and I'm feeling a bit under the weather on top of that. And I don't have a lot of the normal tools that I like to have that's in my studio. But actually, that makes it really good because starting this with every disadvantage will show you how you can start with almost nothing and still make a professional sounding song. So let's go ahead and get started on this simple loop that I was submitted. Let's go ahead and play it here, and we'll listen together. Okay, so it looks like we've only got 4 instruments going, very, very basic. So not only will this need to be lengthened out and made more interesting, but probably have to layer it up with a number of other parts to kind of keep the attention throughout this track. So the very first thing that I want to do here is, let me stop this here. I'm going to want to hit record here. Oh, hang tight. It just jumps right in, doesn't it? Not a problem. So I'm going to record this, and I just want to record this whole part into the arrangement window. Really, really simple. So. And that's all we need to do there. In Ableton 9, you'll notice this little orange deal, and this is saying that it's not playing what's in here, but playing what's in here. So I want to click this and make sure that now we're working in the arrangement window. The reason I get in the arrangement window right away is because every song has to be mixed and finalized in the arrange window. So the faster that you get it into the arrange window, the sooner you're going to think of this little loop part as a full song. Okay? So what I'm going to go ahead and do, oh, look what we got here. So okay, so we've got yeah, we got all these parts here. Let's make sure that we got them all in, okay? Okay, yeah, we're good. Cool. So what I'm going to do is, since it looks like we've just got it all on one scene, I'm just going to go ahead and delete this scene. That way there's no interference. And now we've got our parts here. So I'm going to hit Alt, close all these up, take a look at what we've got here. right? And what do we got? What's this here? Is this another? Oh, this isn't even being used. All right, cool. But we might actually be able to use that in the future, so that's cool. No problem. The kick is just made up of one sound. That's fine. And the bass here. And I wonder what this is considered here. Let's go ahead and call this snare. We got the hats here. And this is just like this because it's frozen. So what I'm actually going to do with this frozen track is I'm going to flatten it. Basically, I asked anyone who made a submission if they're using third-party plugins to freeze the track. That way I've got an audio version of the tracks that are frozen. So I'll just flatten it, turn it into audio, and that should be cool. Hit R and open all these up. Alt, actually. If you catch me mumbling, my apologies. I'm just kind of rambling on while I'm looking at this, kind of the way that I approach things. And we'll flatten this here. Okay, and I think we're good on all the parts. And we'll get into the individual parts in just a second. Let me just close this up real quick. And now all I'm going to do is I'm going to take all these parts and what do we got here? Just make sure these are all the same here. If there's variations or something. Looks like this is a variation here, so let's take a look at what we got. Okay, just a slight difference there. That's cool. So I'll just change the color on this to differentiate between these two. These are probably the same here. I'll check it out. Alright, so this is the only variation, no problem. So I'm gonna try to drag this out for a ways. Just get out of the way. That's pretty cool. And let's just go ahead and highlight all this and drag it out. For me, usually when I'm just dragging a loop out, I usually start at 193, or I'll drag a song in and kind of copy the structure a little bit. But basically, usually 193 is a pretty good song length, and then you could extend or shorten as you like. So yeah, that's about, well, yeah, about 6.5 minutes, a little less than that. And I'm not even sure if that's going to be the length, but that's just what we'll roll with right now. So first thing I want to do is kind of dial in the groove. So I'll show you at least the way that I'll think about this, and let's see how it goes. Let's start with the kick. Let's take a look at what the EQs are doing here. actually turn this up a little louder. Believe it or not, I didn't even bring my headphones over here because I wasn't planning on being here, so I'm using iPod headphones, which are absolute crap, but let's just roll with it. Whoa. Yeah, that's pretty loud there. And what am I going for? I'm just going for what sounds good to me. And by doing some reduction, it gets rid of a little bit of the mud that's in it. And then I'll just kind of bring it back up a little bit. Great. So the next thing that I will do, I'm going to add a return track here. And I'm going to pop in a corpus. And I like to use this on my kicks, just to give a little bit more oomph in the bottom end, and it adds a little bit of dirt. So apologies to the person who sent me this loop if I'm taking this loop in a direction that you wouldn't have taken it in. You know, in order to be authentic, I can only do what I do. So, but hopefully this inspires you guys, you know, just to take your own ideas and your own approach to what I'm doing here. All right, so anytime we have a return, we typically want to turn it to 100% because we don't want any of the dry signal in the return. I'm going to set this to membrane, and then I'm just going to tune this down. Actually, I'm going to set the decay back a little bit, tune this down, and I'm going to turn it up here on the kick. And typically what you do is exaggerate the loudness, and then you bring it back once you kind of know what it's doing. Something like this. Now what I can do too, if we have a bass part here, so I can kind of figure out what the note of the bass is, and the way that I will do that is let me just solo this, and we will let this bass play here. Okay, so it looks like it's a C sharp. So the way that we can test that out here is, let me just pop in a operator here. And I'm just going to pull this operator out of the bass area. There we go. There we go. looks like this starts a eighth of a note in, so it's a now I'll play both together. Yep. Okay, so that's the note we want. Sorry to go through that whole process, but this clarifies the best place to set the corpus at. See, as you can see, you can set the note here. So I can set it right here, and it will harmonize with the rest of the song, the kick. There we go. I'm just going to bring this overall volume down. Now, what I might do here, because this sounds a little bit high, if I want a deeper sound than that. So what I can do is I can go for 5 notes down. So C, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. And I'll get rid of the operator. Well, actually, I'm going to silence the operator. Maybe I'll end up using it for something. I'll just call this sub for right now. So what am I? Still pretty annoying here, this kick. I'm going to bring it down a little bit. Alright, let me figure out what's really going on here with the corpus. A little better. Ratio. We don't want too much spread on this because sub usually you want to keep in the center here. There we go with the width there. Alright, cool. I'm going to go with that. And we'll just kind of mix this in, you know, one by one and see what we've got. So I'm going to bring all this down and then kind of mix it one by one. Here we go. Okay, so I'll just back this up a little. Good. And I'm going to loop this section just so I get the mix happening. Turn that on. There we go. Pretty good snare sound, I like that. Oh, I see. We got a snare in there too. I'm going to try to separate those actually. All right. So we'll have to duplicate this track here. So let's call this snare 2. And this is an 8-bar loop, that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to unlinked here on the volume. Here we go. And we're just going to try to get the snare from this. So let's see. It's going to be right here. So highlight this, lower the volume. Oh. Okay, so we've got that snare there. Let's see if I can bring this out just a little. Alright, there we go. So now I'm just going to loop this automation, and it should give me just what I want. Great. And now on the hi-hats, I'm going to do just the opposite. I'm just going to get rid of actually, what I should probably do is delete this and duplicate this. Alright. And in this case, I'm just going to bring this up. Oop. So this will come down. And this, oop. Just want this right here come up. And this to come up. And let's see what we got here. Now we're getting there. And we play these together, we got something. Alright, now I can mix these separately. which is just what I wanted to do. So let's get this second snare happening here. Might be overdoing it on this bass here. Give that a shot there. Alright, some hi-hats. Ride cymbal. Pop this a little over to one side. Cool. Now, I like this percussion a bit. What I might do is cut this percussion up and use some hits as kind of louder hits running through effects and stuff like that. But as far as the loop, I think it sits nicely down there. Let's take a look at the stick. That ride seems to kind of be sticking out a little bit. Okay. I think I might spread these hi-hats here. So, a little trick I like to do is grab the simple delay, set these to time, bring that to 1 and bring this to, I typically like 15, works good for me. Set this to 100% wet, 0% feedback, and then it kind of spreads the sound into the left and right speakers. You'll be able to hear that before. And then what I'm going to do is I'll grab a utility and drop that over here. And then with this width I can fine tune where I want it kind of in the stereo field. Actually, I kind of like that without any need for adjusting the width inside I kind of like it wide like that. It's subtle, but it definitely makes a difference. So we'll do a little before and after. Maybe just a little more volume. Cool. And let's play with this percussion here. I'm wondering if that background sound is going to be beneficial or whether it's going to kind of muddy the mix up. We'll have to see. It makes for a nice drone, but I wish the drone was by itself, separate from the percussion. But we could probably work with that, I think. All right, so I'm just going to EQ out some of the lower frequencies in that percussion. Yeah, you don't miss any of that mud underneath really at all. And then I might even look around for mud around the 500 hertz range. Reset this here. Oh. Also, you kind of really want to think of sounds in terms of how it's going to sound in the whole mix. So in other words, you don't want to mix each separate part to sound as fat and big as possible, because then you're just going to have everything sounding big and fat, and all that fatness together is going to create nothing but really bad mud in the track. So you kind of want to keep everything clean and get rid of anything that's not necessary. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm wondering if I should pull out some of the highs to give it a little bit of a darker sound here. I may choose against this later, but maybe not so sharp, maybe something like that. Let's see what we got here. Sounds kind of metallic. Let's see about just kind of like that a little better. keep that one subtle. Okay. More hats here, so let's see what we got here. Kind of a straight hat, that's good. Pop that one up. Really like the tone of that. It's a nice sounding hi-hat. Okay. Okay. My instincts, which I'm going to go by, tell me that I should clean this up just a little bit. All right. Track 15 right here. I'm thinking this right here should probably be lower or removed, just to clean up the rhythm, because all these rhythms are layering against each other. So that's just, like I said, this is all personal preference here. There's no necessarily right or wrong way. Now, there might be some wrong ways, but you know what I'm saying. Going to pull this down over here too. Might even be able to turn this into a call and response where I can bring this up here. So we're just getting rid of this one here to clean the rhythm up. And I'm thinking I can make the decay a little bit less here. I see. It's got the, okay, so I'm gonna pull this also. All right, see how that plays. A little bit more. So I want to bring this down just a little bit. And the reason is I want to enhance this particular note right here. So. The same with this here. Be able to use a little more volume because it'll probably be buried a little bit more in the whole mix. Let's just see how that sounds. And then I'll turn this. Yeah, I like that. That way, those certain parts I can turn up a little bit louder without the whole loop overtaking. So to me, that sounds pretty clean. And then what do we got? 16 here. Oh, and we got 17 as well. Maybe this here, I could kind of control the decay a little bit too, maybe with a gate. Oh, that's what it is. I think it's just the reverb. Let's see, where was that? Yeah, let's back the reverb off a little bit. Good. Okay. I'm just going to tweak these by a few cents here. Little can go a long way. And let's get over to 17. Alright, so we got a lot of stuff on that half beat, which is cool. So we have these things that throughout the track we can add and layer to build energy, but we don't need to keep it throughout the whole track. Alright, so this is the first session here of working this into a full tune. Oh, it looks like I just drag? I dragged everything except for the sub. I might as well just drag anyway, no big deal. Got it turned off. But there we go. So we've got kind of the part mixed now, and then I'll kind of go and start working on the structure of the tune.